Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Thank you for coming back. If you are new here, what up? Okay, so I've had a lot of people message me, ask me, talk to me about glory, how to get glory, what's the best way to do glory, what is glory? So glory is basically when you kill troops in Atlas, if you hit another Primarch or Castle Guards or something, you earn glory. You turn that glory in for badges or sigils, and when you use those sigils in Atlas like you would for the regular game seasons, you turn them in for prizes. The prizes, you get Primarch boosts that help buff your Primarch stats to help you get glory easier. You can get mythic defensive or offensive gear, or just regular elite offensive and defensive gear. And you can also get Atlas exclusive riders. So you turn in all those badges for the prize lines, and you get a lot of other goodies too, like crafting shards, crafting scrolls, gold packs, bullhorns. Everything you need for Atlas you get through those lines. So I would definitely recommend getting glory. A lot of fabulous prizes. Mythic gear does a bunch for your dragons and your base, and I believe this season's pieces are HP pieces, so definitely great for your base. Now, the first thing that you're going to want to know before you even get into hitting people in Atlas is your overall team rank in Atlas. This is what determines your glory percentages on other teams, and how much glory you receive from certain people and stuff like that. So the way to find this is you can either click on your team's castle and it'll show you in the bottom left. If you don't have a castle, you can go to the events tab and it will show you here. I've circled it at the top, the Atlas rank. So this team is ranked 1,251. That is not so hot. But this is a dead Atlas team with only like 3 players in it. So my main team is in like the top 100. There's a very big difference. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to look at when you go to hit someone's castle or another player is their team rank. So this team, if you can see at the bottom left when I clicked on their castle, is ranked 744. And in theory, you can see towards the middle of the screen the circled 100% glory. Theoretically, as a team, since my team is ranked so much lower than this team, hitting up this high should give me 100% glory as a team whole. Now, this does not always mean that every player on that team will give you 100%. So if I hit detail and I go into the castle management and I see the Primarchs, you can see if I scroll down, all of these level 200s do not give me 100% glory. Now, if I was on my main account, on my main team, this would be 0. There is no way a rank 100 team could hit a 744 team and get 100% glory unless I am hitting a Primarch that is level 520 or above, because they give 100% glory to anyone, anytime, anywhere. Now, this is so that you cannot bully people in Atlas. There was a big thing about like big players hitting very small players, getting good glory, and it was just not a fun time for everyone. So they implemented this, and you cannot just bully people. Please don't go bully people, okay? So yeah, you can't bully people. So my level 469 account cannot go hit this theoretically 100% glory team and just wipe a bunch of 200s and call it a day. That's not how it works. I still get 70% glory, but I do not get 100%. And to me, I don't really like hitting under like 80%. If it's not green, I'm not really good with it unless I'm trying to get to another castle or something. But it's just not a good glory ratio. It's a waste of troops for me. And I would rather hit someone who's 100% and not bully people. So don't bully people, guys. It's not fun. It's not fun for anyone. It's not challenging. Don't be that person. Now, there are a couple of different ways to get glory. Obviously, defending your castle if it gets hit, if you have a castle, is one way to get glory. And I hope that everyone is defending their castles when they're getting hit. Some teams don't. I understand. It's a lot of work sometimes. But so you have team raids, sniping, castle guard swaps, player-to-player swaps, and Allegany, or Allegany, however you want to pronounce it. Those are the main ways that people get glory, and we are going to break those down for you here and teach you a little bit of the goods and bads about each system. So the first one that I want to talk about are team raids. Team raids are my absolute favorite way to get glory. When I was running my own team, we did team raids not super often, but weekly, we try to do some team raids. This is where a big group of your teammates get together. You attack a bunch of castles together. They may be in a line. You may be just making a little bubble line. They may be spread out. Typically, your bigger players will bring taunters to help shield the little guys. You'll have trappers to trap any taunters that are preventing your little guys from hitting. And it's all around a good time if you are coordinated. If you have teammates who don't really know what they're doing in Atlas, they don't know what Primarchs to bring, they don't know, how to tell which Primarchs are going to give them the best hit, they don't know to not hit a max trapper with a bronze sieger type things, that can make or break a raid, especially if you don't know what you're doing as a coordinator. You really want someone that's more experienced in Atlas to kind of lead these raids and tell people what to do, where to go, make sure people know not to move until you say move, these kinds of things. They take a lot of time to coordinate, and it's a lot of moving pieces going on for the coordinator and whoever's, trying to watch everything. But it is so much fun. It is one of my very, very favorite ways to get glory. I love doing team raids with my teams. When I was on War Enforcers, we raided every single night, pretty much, constantly bubbling multiple castles, and it was a lot of fun, and I really, really miss that about that team. But there are other ways to get glory that are still good ways to get glory. They're just a little bit more time consuming, and they don't really involve your team as much. But yeah, team raids, my favorite way to get glory. They're absolutely so much fun, and I would recommend them to everyone because they really get you moving as a team, and get your teamwork down and stuff like that. Sniping is probably the most common form of glory hunting. It's where basically you go alone or maybe with one or two teammates, and you go and you hit a castle together, like a mini team raid, but not structured or anything like that. It sucks because a lot of times you get enfeebled, you get hit back, they'll wipe you pretty quickly, they are quick to defend when it's only one or two people. It's just, to me, extremely hard unless you're hitting a team that's not very active, that maybe has a big taunter or a big trapper that you can hit, or maybe the team is in a different time zone than your team. That's the only time I genuinely like sniping, because I am not a in-game per se player. So if I'm hitting, a level 20 team in Atlas and there's a bunch of 600s on the castle, it's going to take me a lot more time to get through those bases. Whereas, they have these max huge dragons that can just wipe my base even defended. So it kind of sucks. I don't really like sniping that much. It's not really that fun to me. It is extremely frustrating to me, in my opinion. I know a ton of people who love sniping and think it's the best thing ever, and props to you. It's not my favorite method, but it is a method that a lot of people use. So sniping is another method to get glory. Another very common practice in glory swapping is castle guard swaps. This is where your leader or your officers will get with another team that is similar in rank to you, and you will basically, when PvP bubbles are up and your castles are pretty safe, you will clear your castles of all Primarchs and you will swap guards. Most castles have anywhere from 2 million to 4 or 5 million guards, and you can pick and choose, what castles you want to swap at, the safer ones, and you just chew through a couple million guards and call it a day. Some people sell their guards for gold, some people sell their guards for lumber. Not so much anymore with the fortification frenzy, but I know back in the day a lot of people sold their guards for lumber and wood. Lumber and food during those leveling and feeding and breeding events. But yeah, guard swaps, they are great, especially for leveling up defensive Primarchs like trappers and taunters, or leveling up riders. I find that is my favorite way to level up my riders, because the riders are pretty weak when you first get them in Atlas. There's not much you can do with them, but just slap them on whatever dragon you're using to get through guards quickly, and you can level them up in no time with some good guard hits. I really like castle guard swaps. I don't think that you should make that your preferred method of always getting glory, because it's kind of like a lazy way, and I still think that Atlas should be fun and competitive, and that you should still kind of engage in actually fighting with each other, and you only have a certain amount of hireable guards. So whenever you're doing Atlas and your team is getting glory, a percentage of that glory is turned into hireable castle guards for your castles. Now, you can only hire a certain amount of guards at a time, and you can only hire a certain amount of guards per castle. So if you have 3 million guards and your castle takes 1 million guards, that means you can really only do 1 castle guard swap per PvP, because you have to rehire those guards and get them back up if you want to swap again. So you have to have a relatively active Atlas team, even outside of guard swaps, to be able to do that many guard swaps to where you have the glory to rehire those guards. Because if you run out of glory in the hireable guards, you cannot hire your guards, you can't protect your castles. So just make sure you keep an eye on that if you are doing a lot of guard swaps. Player-to-player swaps are one of the more common ways to get glory as well. You basically find a friend that's similar in level, similar in team rank, and you decide together how many troops you'll load, what primaries you'll use, who will hit who. This is the way to get glory if you want to be able to control pretty much every aspect of it. You find a friend, you choose a red zone, or maybe each other's castle if you have access to the shields, and you swap glory that way. It's a great way if you have a few friends that will glory swap with you. If you aren't able to do like castle guard swaps with your team, if you are too small to snipe, if you are on a team that doesn't do team raids, there are a ton of swap groups. There's one on Facebook, there's one online, there are a few in-game. I know there was someone putting together some in-game groups of like, if you're level 100 to 200, you're in this swap group. If you're level 300 to 400, you're in this one, and so on. So you can definitely ask around, find a good line group, a good Facebook group, find you a swap buddy or 2, maybe even 4. You know, it doesn't hurt to have a lot of people that can swap with you, just in case, you know, their team gets hit, they don't have the troops right now. You have a few options to swap with. This is a great way to get glory and to kind of pick and choose which primarchs you want to level and stuff like that. I do this pretty often with a few of my friends. If I find I need a little bit more glory, but I don't feel like sniping, or my team's not raiding, or there's no castle guard hits, I will swap with other players. And the last method is Allegany, whatever you want to call it. It is a red zone that is on the bottom part of Atlas. There's a map that's split between the bottom and the top. It is on the bottom towards the right. It is a red zone that a ton of players are always in. Trappers, hunters, siegers, destroyers. They throw them in there and they wait, or they bait like sharks. I personally don't ever go into Allegany unless I absolutely have to, need to. No one will swap with me. It's not really a good place if you're like at the level that I am at, where I'm 500. So really good flyers that are like 450 and above can take me out, and huge players that are like 600s can take me out. It's not fun. I don't like it. You have to really like have either your team or yourself defending your base to get good glory from it. It's just not a fun time for me. I don't personally like that way of getting glory. I know a ton of people who do like going to Allegany for glory. It's really good if you have a huge taunter and you have a huge base. You can just throw it out there and let people hit it. But to me, I don't have the troops to spare to just waste them in Allegany, and it's not really fun for me. I always tend to get pretty bad glory and lose a lot of troops when I try that method. So if it works for you, that is great. I'm happy for you. It does not work for me. Those are most of the ways that I know of to get glory. So my favorite team raids. I do swap with people sometimes. I participate in castle guards whenever they're available. I also snipe, depending on if you have a really juicy taunter or trapper or even sieger on your castle. I'm gonna come munch on it. So don't leave those out. Unless you're like a huge player that I can't take, then probably you can leave it out and I won't touch you. But if you're like 450, 550, I'll probably munch on you if you leave a couple hundred troops on your taunter. So yeah, those are the most effective ways, all the ways that I know of to get glory. I hope this helped you. I hope that this broke down ways to get glory enough that I can stop being bombarded with glory questions. I will break down it further. If you really need it, let me know and I will break it down more. You can always message me online as well, and I will break down anything you need broken down if I know about it. Some things I don't know about. I am not an all-knowing taco. I try to be, but there's some things I don't know. So send me your questions and I will answer them. I'm going to go eat now. Okay, bye.